Oh yeah, man. Famous cartoonist Art Baltazar. As you see, Abraham Lincoln is with me, and we are watching, and you are watching. Famous cartoonists draw at night. They draw at night by night. We're all here together, man. Buy their comics, buy my comics, shop.
Welcome to Cartoonist by Night. I'm your host, Anthony Latch. I'm the one who leads. I am joined here by my creative friends. We have Matt Rogers, who does machines. And then we have Matt Fife, who is cool but rude. And then there's Troy, who is a party dude, who is just happy to be here. Welcome to the episode, everybody at home and everybody here. This is Cartoonist by Night. This is a show where us creative friends hang out, talk, draw, and have some fun. This episode's topic is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that is a very wide topic for all of us to discuss. That also means we're all going to draw something related to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. However, Matt Fife over there, he's out in space. What project are you going to be working on during this episode?
I'm going to be plotting and planning issue 3 of Happy Astronaut.
Look at that. And you had to go all the way up to space to get that done too, right?
Yep. Yeah, something witty, I said.
Excellent. All right. So
Catchphrase.
all right, everybody. So here we go. We're just going to dive right into it. I am not comfortable enough to start from scratch and with hosting and reading and sharing and all that stuff. So I am going to show off an item that I am going to be drawing. I got the pencils basically pre-done. I'm just going to kind of load it up on my screen here so I can bring it up for, rather than showing the iPad, I want everybody to get a really, really close look at the crazy creation that I've come up with. And Matt Rogers got a little sneak peek, but I will tell you, Rogers, I'm just waiting to get the window back here. I altered it. I did a little something different. So here we go. I am going to do a reverse Krang. And what that means, so I love Krang, the character of Krang, the brain that gets his body and everything. I'm doing the reverse of that. So now it's a giant Krang who actually, if you look closely, maybe this will zoom in. I think it's zooming in. You'll see the body that's actually stuck inside the body of Krang. So that's what I'm going to be working on.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
And I decided to do it in a style of Daryl Young art, I think is maybe his name, but Daryl Young does all of these poses of these superheroes and creatures, and he kind of has like basically the same style pose and kind of like a wrestling kind of stance for all of his characters, but they're also uniquely drawn. So I'm kind of using Daryl Young as a guide for the pose of what we're looking at. So
very cool.
So yeah, that's what I'll be inking and coloring as we go along. And how about you, Rogers? Do you have any idea, or do you have anything on your screen yet? What are you thinking?
I have not started yet, and I have no idea. No idea.
All right, let's jump over to Mr. Troy there. We saw you pre-recording. We saw you doing some sketching warm-ups. Is there something that you are going to be diving into now?
I'm doing the same thing Rogers is doing. I thought that I would get an idea from whatever you guys are doing, but no, nothing yet. But I will figure it out as I go.
Cool. Yep. So I just draw through Procreate on the iPad Air, I believe it is. So I got my pencils all set up, and I'm just going to dive in. And as you guys are going, Troy will be switching to his camera screen from now and then, and Rogers, and feel free to share your screen whenever you got some of the process to kind of show people at home. And
Yeah.
so the one thing I was going to bring up here to kind of kick it off is a great way to learn more about each other because we're relatively new friends, over the last half a year to a year, just kind of through online comments and such. So I think the show's going to be great because there's a lot we have to learn. Now, both of the Matts have known each other for quite some time, so um, but we have a lot to learn for all of us together. So I will kick it off with Fife. If you want to tell everybody here, how did you get into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Whatever year that cartoon came out, that theme song, I was hooked.
I'm thinking 86, 87, I think.
Okay, that sounds roughly right. I remember fourth grade, all of my friends, we were obsessed and only thought about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's all we talked about. That's all we drew. That's all we played. It was our entire life, and it was all because of that cartoon.
Yeah, we're all roughly around the same age, so when that cartoon hits, like, I mean, that cartoon's for every single person existing, no matter what age you saw that at. And but yeah, we're all around that same time when you're just in like kind of like early middle school type of age. And like, what is cooler than that theme song, but then just jumping into just being these turtles who eat pizza and they, got weapons and kick butt and fight robots and brains and shred heads and
Bebop
mutant
and Rock.
mutant animals.
Bebop and Rocksteady are pretty.
So good. And so that's your introductory is the 80s cartoon.
Yes.
Now let's jump over to Troy. What was your first introduction into the Ninja Turtles?
Same. The cartoon. We were talking what some point we were talking about this, but the Eastman and Laird comics, I didn't know anything about them for the longest time. So I already liked the Turtles from the animated stuff before I ever read anything from Eastman and Laird. And then when I finally did read it, I like issue 1, obviously read like a reprint of it or whatnot, but issue 1 was like spectacular. And then, as they say in their books, funny thing happened between issue 1 and issue 2 is that there actually was an issue 2. They were not prepared at all, and I think it just went into like this really weird direction. Yeah. So like the cartoon much bigger influence on me than the comics. But number 1 is really, really, really good.
Number 1 is really good. I have a reprint of it, and I agree. It's a really good issue.
Yeah,
Holds up today.
They very quickly go into like they go from streets, fighting ninjas and things like that, and then they very quickly go into like triceratops aliens and stuff. It's just such a jarring shift. I don't know. Cartoon.
They were just like every issue they or well, the cartoon, but I remember the comic books, it was like a thing where they just wanted to like challenge each other. And I think they have one of the issues, one of the early ones is just let's make this entire issue a car chase. So like the entire comic book is just one long car chase. Yeah. It's
Is
nuts.
that it?
Yeah. It's just crazy. And then like April O'Neil was like based on one of their girlfriends or something. And man, could you imagine just like being a guy back then and being like, so I invented this new thing. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And didn't they like, it started with like just a playful sketch of being like, hey, here's a funny thing. And then they kind of altered it, came up with names And actually, looking at the back here, if people can see that, the original Ninja Turtle design is on a T-shirt back here, and
Nice.
yep. And to think like it started as that as a joke, like in their kitchen or something, because then they were talking about the shredder, and then they're like, "Hey, how about the villain is the grater?" Because they had a cheese grater, and then I think it was layered that maybe it was just like, nah, maybe the shredder, and like, yeah, that does sound better than the grater, and it's just like just the playfulness of just how those ideas came to be, and the fact that however many decades later, like 40 years or so later, that we're just like it keeps reinventing itself with all the different animated series, the new, like, the movie reboots from the live action, to like the Michael Bay films, to the upcoming ones that they're doing this summer, and all the different toy lines and the video games, and just like it just never ends, and I haven't seen a Turtles incarnation that I haven't liked. So um and then show off some of the process here as I go along. um I'm going in, I'm gonna switch it to my here we go. So during that whole time, look at that arm I got inked over there. There it is.
That's
Oh,
a beautiful squiddy arm.
Yeah, yeah. So I got all of that done just by while we were listening here. So um, so let's jump over to Rogers. What was your introduction to the Ninja Turtles?
same thing. Mostly the cartoon, and then the thing that really got with me was the movie. Was that 1990?
I think
Just
90.
1990, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid, and the theater was so full that I had to sit on my mom's lap because there was like literally nowhere to sit. And I remember everybody, because I lived on an Air Force base at the time, and like we lived in an apartment building and had neighbors, and every single neighbor was just like, "You guys seen that Ninja Turtles movie? Have you seen that Ninja Turtles movie yet? Oh man, it was so cool." And every like 40-year-old men were excited about it. 6-year-old kids were excited about it. 20-year-olds were excited about it because it was like cultural phenomenon or whatever.
And now
Yeah,
all
It
of
was,
us are those 40-year-old men. So
my
yeah.
Good point.
my mom was not into that stuff at all. And I remember her coming home from work, and it was the second day that that movie was out. And I remember her coming home from work and being like, "Get in the car, boys. What are we doing?" It's like, "We're going to the movies." And like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" So we didn't think we were going to get to see it till it got to that second run theater down the road, but we got to go and see it. That's a good childhood memory. If you're watching, Mom, thank you.
well, that's an excellent segue because I have a mom-related story with Ninja Turtles too that I tell every couple years whenever the topic comes up, and I'll first mention with getting into Turtles was the same reason with the cartoon and the action figures, um, and I'll explain how I got into the comics later. But yeah, definitely with the cartoon. So we're all on the same page there, and then that those live action movies. Now I love The Secret of the Ooze. I absolutely love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too,
Mhm.
and seeing that movie was definitely a highlight, a memory, because we were at some sort of family like birthday party in a different city, and that movie was just out, and we were in the city that had a movie theater. And I remember my mom saying something along the lines of like, "Hey, we're gonna go run errands or whatever. Like we're at this party, but we're also in town, so we got to run a couple errands too, and we'll be back." And that errand was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. And so,
Ooh.
from my memory, I think it was just her and I um, going to that movie in the middle of like a family birthday party. And one of the coolest things when you see,
Priorities, man.
say that again.
Priorities, man.
Exactly, yeah. And she had the right priorities, and I don't know if I was keen to knowing what was happening until we like got to the theater being like, "Oh, we're not gonna do do laundry or pay a bill or something, we're gonna go get popcorn and watch the new Ninja Turtles. And when we get to in the movie or watching, and the turtles, the Foot Clan is beating up everybody. Kino's by himself, and he's trying to fight off everybody. And then the turtles kind of run down the step, and that's the first time you see them in the movie for the second one. And then they have a scene where they like jump up in the air and they blast the music. They put the logo up there, and in the theater, and I quote you, "This was my mother yelling aloud, all right." And that is a memory that just is always like I'm pretty jazzed about this too, but I'm just like, man, she was pretty happy that the turtles showed up to help Kino, and
You're like a little kid looking over at your mom, like, yeah.
yeah, it was just ridiculous. And but yeah, I was fortunate enough to basically have like every single toy and anything turtles related. I'll show some pictures because I have some childhood pictures, by the way. um but yeah, so that was my introduction, and that's like because you guys had mentioned the mothers, and that's a memory, that's a core Ninja Turtle memory for me. So
That's very cool, Anthony.
Yeah, that's one toy line I wish I still had, was my Ninja Turtle line.
yep.
Brothers are younger than me, but when they were young and playing with toys, I was just growing out of it. But the last toys I had out were my Ninja Turtles. So they adopted them, and those things just got destroyed.
Yeah.
I have all my He-Man, all my G.I. Joe, all my Transformers. My turtles are gone.
While we're talking, Matt Rogers, you want to jump into your screen and give us a little peek at what's happening
Oh.
behind the digital pen there?
You guys are gonna be so disappointed in me.
Uh-oh.
Impossible.
He doesn't know what
Oh.
who the turtles are.
I don't. Is this what turtles look like?
Yeah.
That hey, I think you understood the assignment, as they say, because you are drawing something within the Turtles universe. Because I'm not drawing a Ninja Turtle, so
That's true.
unless that turns
'Cause-
out to be like Wayne Gretzky or something, I think you're on a good awesome. And feel free to keep that screen up there too. Just kind of give us a little process. So for those watching, we're pretty early into this show, and we're not necessarily numbering the episodes because not sure what order things are going to come out in. But at this point, we're still working on getting some of the extra share screens going, but hopefully everything should be recording, and we'll see our gallery view on the side so we can still see us hanging out and drawing and talking and everything. But yeah, feel free to keep that screen up for a little while until we want to focus on something else. So
yeah.
but yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, so Fife was talking about the toys and stuff, and anytime that I would have toys as a kid, um, I would, if I wanted the next fandom, because I was into everything that we'll eventually probably have an episode about here, whether it's Power Rangers or He-Man, Ninja Turtles, Batman, there's just everything you can imagine. And a lot of my toys would go to the rummage sales, and I would use that money to, help buy some of the other stuff. I'd get it for Christmas and birthdays and things like that too. But a lot of it went to the rummage sale, and it was hard to see those go. But the neighbor kid up the street would get some of that stuff. I would also have the hand-me-downs to basically my aunt got it for all of her grandkids. And what was the reason I bring this up is because a couple years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, she brought something into work, and it was in a bag, and she goes, "Oh, I'm just cleaning out some stuff," because all these grandkids now are all like, they have their own kids and everything. And like, I was just getting rid of some stuff and getting ready to move, blah blah blah. And I found this, but I think this was yours, right? And the one item that returned to me in the entire, like I said, I had pretty much everything. If it was the baseball Ninja Turtle, like scuba diving Ninja Turtle, like all those stupid things, they did it with Batman too. I would get all those. But she handed me, and I should just bring it. You know what? I have it pretty close by. That's going to be the best reveal. Does anybody want to guess what classic Ninja Turtles toy is about to be revealed here?
April O'Neil.
Incognito Donatello with that weird human mask.
Oh, that was a cool toy.
I have no clue what you guys are talking about. I actually didn't have any of the action figures. So
Well, you were like 20 when they came out, weren't you?
I mean, like 7.
27. Oh
Who
man, here comes the reveal.
Okay, so you want to stop the share screen? I don't want to mess something up here.
No,
No, you
I was
don't?
just gonna describe it to everybody.
Okay, here we go. I could only hear half of your answers, so I don't know if anybody said this, but coming along here.
The pizza van.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to complain for a second.
Uh-oh.
You said figure.
Did I say figure? And the one item that returned to me, and the one item that returned to me,
and the one item that returned to me, and the one item that returned to me.
Cowabunga!
That's a vehicle.
Did he say
Oh,
figure though?
The game was rigged.
I
Also,
think-
one thing I distinctly remember from a kid, the packaging for the turtle van said that it seats like up to 4, but you can cram like 12 figures in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of space in there, and there's actually some turtle masks in there right now.
Well, why aren't you wearing one?
I'll have to do it. We'll see.
There we
We'll see
go.
how this fits. These are ones that probably came with one of the Blu-ray sets of the recent movies. So yeah, we'll see if this actually fits. But I know I said that she handed me a bag of one of the items. I don't know if I said figure specifically,
I thought you said figure.
but here we go. All right, I have 4 of them here. So if you guys, I'm going to hand them over to you. If everyone wants to take one here. Oh no, actually, I only have. Oh, they're reversible. They
Oh,
were-
Wow.
But they ripped me off, so now I'm only stuck with 2 of them, and I just have to choose which one I want. So
Obviously, Leonardo.
all right.
Oh, obviously, is it that obvious?
You think Leonardo's the coolest one?
Well, at this point in my life, like
That's because you have to be Leonardo for your family at this point in your life. But like, which
Correct.
one is the coolest?
I'm Leonardo at this point. But earlier in my life, I was Michelangelo, and then Raph, and then Donnie. Now I'm Leonardo. Really, I'm more
At this point,
but
really, yeah.
but yeah, that's who I relate to the most.
So
I
as-
don't like it either, but
I'm
I don't
Casey
like the
Jones
opinion
because
either,
I
but
just
that's my opinion.
want to hit everybody with a hockey stick.
Sometimes you just can't choose which turtle you are. You just have to accept it. So
that's right.
that is one of the questions I posed out there for some people, some fan mail. We had a short notice on doing this episode, so I don't think anything came through, but I'll check by the end of the show. But since Fife brought it up, let's see here. Which character, which Ninja Turtle do you most relate to? So yeah, you kind of gave the answer on that. Let's go over to Troy. Is there a certain turtle that you relate to the most?
Well, if it's who you relate to the most, unfortunately, I have to go with Fife on that one. I thought it was who you like the most.
Either or, you can give both answers. We're not
I
going
guess.
to.
Well, I mean, I'm the responsible dad type, so I relate more to. Hang on, let me get off of this real quick. I relate more to Leonardo, but as a kid, I loved Raphael. I don't know why, because he is sort of the rotten one. But I
It's
love
because he was cool but rude.
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't know why I liked him. I liked all those tough guy characters when I was a kid, but as I got older, I started really appreciating more Donatello and Michelangelo. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say the
Fine.
one. I would say both the favorite and the one I would relate to would definitely be Leonardo.
Mhm.
I always liked the leader types. I like, he had a very level head and just had to, you know, put up with Raph, a lot because of him just kind of being unhinged and going off on his own and screwing things up and having to be, rescued sometimes. But yeah, I always like the leader characters. That's why I gave myself that intro with saying I'm the one that leads with being the host of the podcast here. So I think there's a lot to, it's not me like I don't think that I would like, all right, I have to be the center of attention. Everyone's got to hear what I say because I'm really not that person. Because I'm very much happily just, drifting into the background and just, don't need the focus like that. But when it comes to creative things like this and getting things going, getting things organized, whether that's like hanging out with friends and coming up with plans and I guess a combination of Leonardo and Danny Tanner, I think is how it describes me. So,
Cannot believe you brought Full House into this Ninja Turtle conversation. How
hey,
dare you, sir?
I'm bet you there's an episode that they brought Ninja Turtles into Full House because there has to be like a birthday party somewhere with was it TJ, the one of the little kids, TJ.
It was DJ.
Well, there's DJ,
DJ.
but I think there was a TJ. Who's that actor who ended up being a smart guy? I think, what was his name?
Oh
Urkel.
yeah.
Teddy. I think he was Teddy on Full House. I think that was his name. And there's got to be an episode where him or that one other kid that was from Kindergarten Cop, I think he was on Full House. One of those kids probably had to like jump into a room and and Joey, he probably was dressed up as a Ninja Turtle sometimes. So I just have to type it in Google. I got a Full House and Ninja Turtles and just see what happens.
I want to find out what Turtle Rogers is before I gotta go.
Oh yeah,
But you gotta
sorry.
go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
Black
But-
suit Raph from the Archie comic book.
nice.
Okay.
Is that the one where they were professional wrestlers?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Never seen that one.
I think in the Archie comics, they weren't turtles that were mutant. I think they were like space aliens that came to Earth. That was like the weird story. Oh my God, he was right.
Yep. So here's Uncle Joey dressed as full size Ninja Turtle. That wasn't the only one because there is, and it's probably Joey's, but little Michelle has the Ninja Turtle slippers, and most likely those are Joey's as well. So Turtles does have some, like I said, I think I'm on point here. Look at this.
There.
You definitely are. Once again, fearless leader.
One of the heartfelt moments here that had the jingle was a nice heartfelt talk with a Ninja Turtle. So, all right. So Fife, do you have to go then?
I have to go.
All
I
right.
miss you all. Goodbye.
Get back to that script.
Bye, Fife.
Bye,
Bye.
buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so it's we're down a turtle. We're down to 3 of them here. He's the Raphael of the group right now because he just kind of went off on his own. If
Yeah,
we
he
want to
did.
jump back to a share screen, Rogers, if you could.
I'm
You
gonna
guys
go
are going to
throw-
be real disappointed in me.
Oh boy, again?
Yeah.
Did you draw Dave Coulier?
just-
Whoa.
I just can't figure it out, man.
Well, did you give up on that other one, or did you just do a mask?
I gave up on it. I was like, this ain't working out well for me. I'm not good at dynamic poses. I don't know if you've figured that out yet.
Well, there's always room to learn. We're all going to learn from each other. So hopefully, by episode 100 of this, you can get a dynamic pose down. Will it take 100 episodes?
Might take more than that because I've look at it this way. I've been drawing for like 40 years.
It's almost 60 years.
But so yeah, this is a fun time. I'm just like, Can't figure this out. Can't figure it out. What's Troy doing?
Well, I was trying to figure out my lighting. I'm just noodling. Felt like
Doodle.
the overhead light. I can see well with the overhead light, but there was like a glare or something which was stopping it from being able to be seen. I got to figure out the lighting situation in here. Because I seem to have, of course, I've not seen any of the videos. Maybe whatever I've been doing works well. I haven't seen them because they haven't come out as of this recording, not because I don't want to see what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean everything's looking, pretty good. I think it's just with the light and the white and all that stuff. I mean, I think that's just a natural thing, no matter who's doing it. But if there's any artists out there who have any tips, feel free to hit up Troy. If there's anything or any of us that we can improve when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm at a stage in my art. I call myself a hobby artist, just kind of doing it for fun. I don't do any professional work or anything like my fellow creative friends here. So I just I sketch on an iPad. I haven't gotten to the point yet where I'm comfortable with kind of like connecting. I assume I could probably just connect this with a USB to the laptop and do a screen that way. I think it's probably just that easy, but I'm hoping to get to a point where I'm be like, yeah, I can let people see how I do it. And I never really follow any specific, I never had any proper teaching. I'd always draw as a kid and things like that, but I would just watch people draw and mostly Art Baltazar and watching his drawing shows and his digital stuff. And I'm still, always learning layers and things in Procreate. But the one thing I noticed when going through our first
He
episode,
really is wild.
he's wild, yeah. Going through
What just all the steps that he has.
yeah, with his colored with the colored lines and all that
I'm
stuff.
gonna be quiet. You go right ahead, sir.
No, that's all right. So you're talking
Yeah.
about art style with his lines. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Just
Oh,
it's
okay.
wild to watch him. The way he works is wild.
I
That's
can't
it.
I can't
Sorry.
do it.
Yeah,
Can't do.
I have a hard time watching Art Baltazar draw because he doesn't show. Okay, so he works in like a really old version of Manga Studio. I know that. Because I use Clip Studio Paint, that used to be Manga Studio. They changed it. And he uses an old version of that, and then he exports it to Photoshop, but he doesn't ever show his Photoshop work. So I just see Action Cat with a purple mouth and green arms.
yeah.
And he's like, all right, we'll go ahead and export that and we'll get started on the next one. I was like, no, I need to see how this ends up being that. It's a real existential crisis for me to watch him work.
You really want to see how the sausage is made, and he's just
That's right.
showing you a part of it.
Whereas
Yeah,
John
he's-
Huntress would say,
I just realized they have like.
Would you realize?
That their belts have like a little thing that hangs down, and I didn't draw it, and I've already inked over it, so it's a ruined drawing.
Oh man, let's
Completely.
start over.
Yeah,
I'm almost done with my initial inking outlines of the Krang brain portions. I got to dive into the actual body stuff, but I'm going to show my stuff very shortly here, as I'm going to take away my pencils to see a. All right, let's see how this shows up.
Beautiful.
nice.
So yeah, he's missing the torso there, and but yeah, we got all the limbs, and looks very crazy at the moment. But yep, that's where I'm sitting with my status.
Very cool. I like the concept.
the-
How did you come up with that?
Well, first I decided, what am I going to draw? Am I going to draw a Ninja Turtle? But I kind of figured like, all right, well, maybe, well, Troy's drawing Ninja Turtle, figured that might be what people think, just being like, all right, we all have to draw turtles. But I'm like, I gotta draw whatever my favorite kind of character or creature from Ninja Turtles. And instantly was Krang. So I'm like, all right, what version of Krang do I just have the brain on his little like spider legs, robotic spider leg device? And then I'm like, well, I'll draw Krang's body. How about that? So I actually drew that, which I gotta see if I have the. I don't think I have the original. I might have the original sketch on here. Um, I do. Yes, cool. So I duplicated the file, and so I started with Krang's body, um, looking at the classic cartoon pose and the action figure, but I followed once again artist Daryl Young.
Mhm.
I'll show off some prints because I know where they are. Just show what I'm explaining here. But then once I drew the actual outline of the body, then I just went ahead instead of drawing Krang in there. That's when I started putting the body's head inside of the body, and then I took it to a new file and just erased one arm and just drew the brain squiddy arm and just kept doing it and just kind of kept altering it. And I couldn't figure out what to do with the legs. And I do have my take one on the legs too. So let me go back to my file here. Um, so this is what I was going to do. And this is Roger saw a little preview of this when we hung out on Zoom last night. So here is the top half as it mostly stays untouched. But I was doing his his little like robot. He's got that thing where he's just kind of in the little dome and he's got the legs like kind of like an ATST walker type of thing going on there.
Okay.
So I was doing that, and then it just started looking kind of like Big Bird legs, basically.
It really does. Robot Big Bird legs.
And I'm like, well, I love Big Bird, and I've met Carol Spinney, so I'm just like, yeah, maybe I'll go with that. But then I'm like, I don't know, it just wasn't looking right. So then I started a new layer, and that's where I've got what I'm working on now. So
Gotcha. Cool.
yeah, and in order to start showing that stuff off a little more, I will be probably getting a little more comfortable with trying to connect the iPad here, and then I can switch to that screen and not have to show like a glared image off my screen. But all right, so I'm gonna take a quick little break here so I can do some show and tell. Um, we've really been recording that long already? Hour and a half?
How long? What?
Wow.
Oh wait, oh that might be just when we hung out initially. So okay. Okay, so yeah, the actual recording's not that long. Okay. I saw 127 in the corner there. And yes, Erica, who is maybe watching, it is 127 at the moment. And Fife. Uh let's see here. But yeah, I think that's just the session when we jumped onto Zoom, so not the whole recording. So, one thing I want to talk about, I have yet to talk about this on Crimson Cowl. It may be out there by the time this episode's out there, but I got to meet Kevin Eastman at C2E2 in 2023. A couple weeks back, I got to meet co-creator of the Ninja Turtles. That was my first meet and greet with any of the Turtles creators, and Kevin Eastman came to Chicago and had some meet and greets. And so, what I'm going to show here is my photo op with Kevin Eastman.
Which one's
So,
Kevin?
which one's Kevin? He's the handsome one.
Oh, okay.
You got it now?
Yeah.
Well,
The one Kevin's the one
you-
without the hat on.
Yeah, there
You're
we
the
go.
one. There's one with a shirt with our show on it, but then you have that other shirt at your house
Yeah,
too.
I could see how that could be confusing.
Are
So
you both of them?
we are both Kevin Eastman. Yes, I I created the Ninja Turtles. So what was cool about meeting him is he was absolutely awesome. I'll talk about the table meet and greet with an autograph later, but the photo meet and greet, which goes pretty quick at these Comic Cons. If nobody has done them, you don't really have time. You can say a little, hi, whatever, but it's not for like gift giving or hugs or anything like that. It's just like, all right, we're all in a cattle line here. Let's jump in for a photo. And this was the first day that I was wearing the Cartoonist by Night shirt out in the wild. We had just dropped the trailer, that evening before. I'm wearing it about. I had a couple of different writers and artists kind of call it out and mention it and stuff. I wouldn't really bring it up, but a lot of people just noticed it. And Kevin Eastman. So I'm walking up for the photo op, and I'm just getting ready. I already just talked to him at the table, but I'm not expecting him to remember just because he just talked with hundreds and hundreds of people. So I'm just going in and be like, "Hey, how's it going, sir?" And he looks at me and he just goes, "I want to try to replicate the enthusiasm." He looks at my shirt and just goes, "Cartoonist by night." And it was just like, whoa. I'm like, yeah. And that was that. He looked at the shirt. That's what he saw when I walked up to him. He saw Troy's design, and he just belted it out. Just said, "Cartoonist by night." And I was just like, "Well, hello, sir." And then yep. And then we got that awesome photo. If we didn't have those T-shirts, I was going to be wearing that exact shirt that he's wearing in that photo op, because that's because I'm like, all right, I got one photo with Kevin Eastman. That's probably what I'm gonna wear. And but then the Cartoonist by Night shirt, and I specifically chose the black and white version on Saturday because of the Turtles starting in black and white comics.
Nice.
Interesting.
Because I wore the colored version of our logo on Sunday, but knowing that that photo op was on Saturday, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear the black and white one that day because it's gonna be in a photo with Kevin Eastman. So
That's the kind of thought that I would never put into anything. That's
yeah,
pretty funny.
yeah,
I also feel like it's a little bit of a missed opportunity to not have the same shirt as Eastman in the
yeah.
photo,
Well,
though. I mean,
Photoshop
it's cool, but
Photoshop exists, so I could correct that. Now that that almost 40-year-old man there got to meet Kevin Eastman, and if you want to look back into time and visit a young Anthony, here is a photo of me with a Ninja Turtle as well. Not the creator of the Ninja Turtles, but with an actual live Ninja Turtle. This photo that you're all looking at here is was an event at a grocery store, and a Ninja Turtle was handing out these delicious brand like animal cracker, but Ninja Turtle cookies basically. And
uh,
so, yep, there I am, and I'm going to see if I can. I don't know if I can zoom in on that, but I don't think I can with what I'm looking at right now. Um, so yeah, so there is a young Anthony meeting a Ninja Turtle, and that happens to be one of my cousins, by the way, in the suit. So that was a cool little reveal that I would find out. Just found it out. You know, last year I was just like, I thought the turtle was real the whole time, but
oh
so
my God, Vincent, that was you? You're a Ninja Turtle?
and actually, she might have been the first like Jenica because it was my female cousin that was in that costume. So she
Ah.
might have
Oh my
predated.
God, Vicky, that was you?
Yeah. And I think yep, so here we go. Do any of you recall this, the delicious Ninja Turtle cookie container at all? I remember
Nope.
this perfectly. So I did a Google image of that one. I'm just like, yep, that's where that delicious cookie brand came from. It was also packaged in one of the kind of like the carousel animal cracker cardboard cases. So they had the turtle van. So that was another packaging for those delicious cookies. And
That, that first one looked more like a shampoo bottle to me.
yeah, it does kind of. And but yeah, it maybe that's what we used it after we're done with it. But no, actually, I think I remember putting my change in there. I think I used it as like a piggy bank. So,
Mhm.
and then here is the box of the cookies, like your traditional the chocolate chip ones. So yeah, that was the cookie brands that they were handing out during that little event there at the store. Now, speaking of Ninja Turtle themed food, we'll get into a very important pizza question soon. But before we do, we got to jump into this image here of these. I got to bring it up on my phone because on my screen it's just real tiny. So I got to see what actually I'm looking at here proper. Oh, you know what? I didn't even save those on my phone. They're on my desktop. So I don't think I can expand it here. I'm not sure. So what this was, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find the image on my side so I can look closer. These they were like a Cheeto type of snack. It was like a cheddar cheese salty snack, and it was here it is. Pizza Crunch-A-Bungas, they were called. And
That
Sounds
sounds
so
awful.
dirty.
and they had the pizza shooter on there, which I did have as the vehicle, where that shot those like pizza discs and stuff. So on here, they are shooting these kind of like Cheeto puffed type of items, but I remember specifically how disgusting these were. I
No,
don't
they
know.
look awful.
It was like it doesn't say anything what, specific flavor of pizza, but it was I just remember just like kind of like feeling like it was burning my mouth and it definitely did not taste good. But
It's tasted like something right out of the sewer, did it?
and you guys, are you seeing a zoomed up version when I zoom in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, then I know that works. So yeah, that is a little look into that, but I do have a you know what? That'll be a good breaking point to talk about pizza. So Ninja Turtles love their pizza. Let's go around the room here and talk about some pizza. Let's start with Rogers, and as you do you want to jump into your share screen again and then tell us what your preferred type of pizza is as far as toppings, I guess.
You guys are going to be so disappointed in me.
How many times have you said that now?
The same amount of times that I have restarted this drawing.
So now you got like the ninja, the baby.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm just, sometimes you just have those days where everything just isn't working out correctly.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those days.
It's a rough go of it, but what are we talking about? Pizza?
So yeah, what is your preferred like pizza topping? If what's your go-to?
Well, lately I've been super excited because Pizza Hut brought back the Big New Yorker,
Ooh,
and that is my all-time favorite pizza. So I got that a couple of times. I had noticed I'm now 40 years old, so I get heartburn.
yeah.
So that's super awesome. Generally, I'm really boring. I like pepperoni, or if they have multiple cheeses, I will always take multiple cheeses. Like Papa John's has a Tuscan 6 cheese that's really good.
Ooh.
I get Little Caesars quite a bit. A lot of people think Little Caesars is gross, but you know what? When you have 4 people that have to eat, $5.50 is a pretty good deal.
Heck
Yeah.
And even bad pizza is good pizza. So
I actually said that today because somebody showed me there's a Chuck E. Cheese branded pizza now that's in the freezer aisle, and
Huh.
somebody asked me about it, and I said, "Well, I wouldn't buy it again. It was kind of underwhelming." But then I literally said, "I'm like, but I also haven't had a bad pizza before, so."
It's true.
So yeah, it
It's
was
true.
fine as is, but I wouldn't go down there and repurchase the Chuck E. Cheese version of the frozen pizza. Um, so Troy, what is your go-to pizza choice?
I like lots of veggies on my pizza, actually. So, as far as like the meats, pepperoni or Italian sausage, I even like anchovies on pizza. Not heavy, like most places do anchovies kind of terribly, where they'll have like 3 or 4 full anchovies on each slice, and it's really overwhelming. But sometimes you'll go to a place and you'll get anchovies, and they'll actually like chop the anchovies and sprinkle them, and I like that.
I have an industry secret for you.
All right.
The reason that people put a ton of anchovies on pizza is because they are so rarely ordered. We have to open a new tin for each one, and what we don't put on the pizza we have to throw away, so we just put it all on there.
And then that person doesn't order pizza again from you.
Hey, it's a win-win.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I like mushrooms. I like peppers. To me, the veggies are kind of more the star than the meat.
Okay. Okay.
Now, Anthony, what is your favorite pizza choice? Well, let me tell you. So I'm a pretty classic kind of basic kind of guy too, but I love a cheese and sausage pizza. I'll have a pepperoni here and there, but my go-to is cheese and sausage. And the if I do spice it up and kind of go outside the box, whenever it's available, there's a chain of pizza buffet places in our state and kind of surrounding states called Pizza Ranch. And Pizza Ranch does a buffalo chicken pizza that is very good. It's enough just to get a little sweat on the brow. It doesn't, put you down or anything like that. It doesn't make it, less appetizing. It does what it needs to do. But yeah, they'll do a thin crust and a thick crust version of the buffalo chicken. So I do go down that avenue once in a while. And then DiGiorno, I haven't seen them in a long time, but DiGiorno used to have the 6 cheese cheddar stuffed crust pizza. So I think it was the only pizza that had a cheddar cheese stuffed crust, and they it was so ridiculous with all the cheese, but then I would still add cheese at home. So
Lord, man.
yeah, six wasn't enough, and then I don't know if the cheddar cheese in the crust counted or not, but basically I just kept adding more cheese onto the 6 cheese stuffed crust pizza. And now with Fife being gone, and he can't speak for himself, but Matt Rogers, you've known Fife for quite some time. Do you know what his pizza choice is?
I think his favorite pizza is pizza.
His
Like
pizza.
I think he's pretty much like a dumpster, and he'll just eat whatever is there. I could be wrong. Age changes people, but we worked together at Papa John's we worked together in the pizza industry for like 15 years off and on. And
Okay.
most of our food was, hey, they didn't come to pick this up. Do you guys want it?
Nice.
And so we would eat it.
Yeah.
But I'm the plain guy. I don't like food really. I only eat to survive. I don't eat for flavor.
You said you're the what guy?
Plain.
Oh, plain. Gotcha.
Yeah, just the best cheeseburger has meat and cheese.
Now this is when we were discussing this in our chat thread. This is when I started to feel a connection here. A good friendship was brewing between myself and Robert. Because I too will, typically like things plain. I will call it selective eating, rather than just being like a picky eater. I mean, I eat a lot of stuff, but I do just like a pretty plain thing. I don't like to doctor things up and mess with the recipe.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I was raised, my dad told me if you need condiments, somebody messed up somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like food should taste good the way that it's made. So he would like the biggest insult to him was putting A1 on a steak because he's like, a good steak doesn't need anything. You're covering up the flavor. That means they messed up. My dad's Batman.
I was going to ask, but I didn't know if you were allowed to divulge the information or not.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
I was gonna say if you need me to cut it out because we are all like pre-recording and stuff, just send me a message and we can edit that out.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I was raised. So I was always just like, all right, well then I'll have it plain. If I don't like your plain hamburger, then I just don't eat at your restaurant.
There you go. Okay, I just have to add the dome onto, and I think I'm kind of done. I'm gonna do a lot of details yet and stuff. Now that I just said that, I've noticed a couple things I have to correct. But I'm pretty close to showing another stage here. Rogers, are we gonna see another different drawing if I ask you to share your screen again?
No, shockingly, I have hit my stride on this one. We're getting there. Let me see. Share screen. Doot, doot.
Okay, there we go. Pizza, pizza. Isn't that what they say in the movie?
Pizza. Pizza.
Absolutely. I forgot to put this. Oh, forgot to put this little shadow here. There we go. See, I've noticed if you don't put that little chin shadow, the drawing doesn't ever look right. Once you get that chin shadow in there, it all comes together.
What if you're drawing a character that has like 20 chins like my character here?
Well, see, then you do one of these, and then you have his neck, and then you just
Yeah, so yeah, my character, like I don't know if there's technically a neck in a disembodied brain or not, but yeah, there we go. Look at this character being created before our very eyes. This is what Cartoonist by Night is all about.
That's right. I dig it. Droopy the turtle.
Are you drawing Dana Carvey right now? Turtle, turtle. Oh, I love that. I'm looking at the detail now.
Crunchabunga.
Crunchabunga. I am almost ready to show, and then I'll go into story time once again because I do have some photos queued up. The one thing I am learning as this is all very new to me. I mean, I think it's all pretty new. I mean, Troy's done some reels and things like that. It's kind of showed off his process, you know. Rogers, you know, you just started doing, doing some live streaming. You've done some Twitch and YouTube and things like that. So you've done this for, a little bit, but outside of the show, I haven't kind of let people in on the process, and I'm usually just listening or watching something in the background. So I'm still kind of learning, realizing that like, oh, I have to actually keep drawing here and not just stare at my thing while listening to stories. So I'm still trying to do the multitasking. Okay, I'm going to take away my pencils here and kind of showing where I am at the inking stage. All right, let's get this here. I think
Beautiful.
so yeah, here I am, and I'm kind of scaling down the body here to see the rest. So this is kind of where I'm at. I got to do some details yet, but at my stage, I'm probably pretty close to jumping into some colors, and I'll probably do a lot of extra, just like mechanical details on the suit that he's in and stuff like that. All right, Troy.
Here's a good question.
Anything you want to? Oh, what were
you
you
go ahead.
All I was gonna say is if Troy wanted to talk a little bit about what he's doing, and
I'm just kind of noodling away. I see if I can get this where the lighting is decent. And I would now take a thicker marker and kind of outline the things that need to be outlined so that you can see more definition. But I'm having trouble with my markers finding one that I like. I have a Sharpie, like a Sharpie marker, but I don't know how Sharpies I've noticed that like old Sharpie sketches kind of turn blue. And so I don't really want to put Sharpie on here along with the a nice ink and then have parts of it turn blue and parts of it not. So I might just grab a what is this? A Pitt, yeah, Pitt artist pen. It's the thickest one I have, but I don't want to use a brush pen because I'm uncomfortable with those, or I'm not all that comfortable. So this one I'll just probably have to do layers and scribble on it until I get it how thick I want. But it's not. See, I would love to be able. Oh no, see, this is spitting dust anyway. No, it looks like I'm done.
There you have it, folks. You saw it live, and just wow.
Let's see.
And by live, I mean pre-recorded.
There we go. So apparently, if I have sufficient light to see, then I have insufficient light for the viewers to see, or I have too much light for the viewers to see.
What I like about seeing your work is, like, your drawings really stand out with the details that you go in with those lines. Not only with like the buildings, because you'll see it like with the Swamp Thing that I had you commission, Swamp Thing and Man Thing, when you get into the details of the vines and such, as well as the tick drawing that you've recently done. But the way you just get in with those just very fine details and just kind of, I don't know. I'm just fascinated by just like, it looks like it's a giant maze. Like, I think you would be an awesome like maze maker. Like if you were to
Yeah.
make actual mazes and stuff, like it just seems like that's what's going on the inside of your drawings. And yeah, I'm here for it, as they say.
What's really happening is my brain is turning off, and I'm just noodling,
Well,
without a plan or anything like that. I get
well,
compared to Keith Giffen quite a bit, but you know how it sort of originated, grew old Sergio Aragonés and grew. He would, and this stinking cough is killing me. He would do,
you're
he would
you're,
do like
you're starting to
he's
sound like
drawing
Krang.
something.
You're well, yeah. You're starting to sound like Krang, because if you go back to the '80s cartoon, Krang was always just like Shredder. You just like make all those like random noises. So as far as I know, you're just cosplaying right now.
Right on. So Sergio, he would do like these very simplified drawings, but a lot of it was just like him noodling, and it just came out looking cool. You know, that those noodles that he was doing turned out to be part of his style, you know. So that's kind of what I do, is just noodle. I like how it looks. I don't have more reason behind it other than just I really like.
Yeah, the Gru guy, his art style reminds me a lot of like Al Jaffe.
Yeah,
They're very similar, like how they draw faces, and it's almost like it almost looks like they don't do a sketch first. They just go in and say, whoop, and there it is. You know what I mean? Like it looks like their final drawing is kind of like their preliminary. It has like kind of that little bit of a sloppy look to it, but it still looks really good.
yeah. Yeah, I think he definitely is more of a preliminary is the finished drawing kind of guy. But when you're that good, you can do that.
Yes.
I am not that
Yes.
good, so I have to do passes of the ink.
I
the
think
first-
you're great.
Thank you, Matthew. I think you're great too.
Well, all this
My-
praise is all fine and dandy. I'm gonna share some stuff here and go back to a little story time. So going through the history of myself as a Ninja Turtle fan, it goes back to, here's another photo of me as a young turtle, and
Nice.
this is a thing that I would basically make. Hold on here. I'm still learning the share screen in order, right, so I can get that image up that I want to show. Okay, so I can zoom in. Here we go. So if you look real close on this old photo here, I'm doing the classic like side, Ninja Turtle expression, and that's
Mhm.
something that I would just do in a lot of photos as a kid. And I'm there armed with the size, and I've got Ninja Turtle costume. But seeing, and I've got that Lego hair going on there. You just plop a Lego helmet hair on.
It's like you go to the barber shop and your mom tells him, "Give him a boy's cut."
Yeah, can you give me a Jason Bateman, please? That's kind of what I'm looking for here. He's got some nice heavy hair, so um, so now here's an awesome another Ninja Turtle story time. So when I was whatever age I am here, uh, I was entered into a contest at Target, and I think we received the phone call. That I had won. My name was drawn out, and I had won a $100 gift certificate to
Ooh.
Target.
Which
And
must have felt like $1 million back then.
oh yeah, exactly. Like you're looking at a kid. I'm trying to find my other photo here as I talk, and oh yeah, here it is. Okay, I'll cue it up in a second. So what I really remember about this, actually, I'll just show it off here because I can explain as we go down the line. So I remember getting the phone call and then having all my brothers like beat me up with excitement of just like pushing me and body slamming me and be like, you won." And back then that was just a way to show, family support and stuff like that. Whereas I'm just like, I don't feel like I won. I'm just getting slammed by, three people much larger than me. Um, and I can relate to the turtles with having three brothers, and there we go. So, looking at the $100 gift card, we can take a little trip down, zooming in on the stuff that I bought. So, I'm wearing a Ninja Turtles mask that had the nose attached to the bottom of it. Um, and I'm holding the box there. It comes with the knee pads, elbow pads, and all that stuff. So, I definitely bought that. Then we see from Tycho, there's this zero gravity cliffhangers was a giant, race car set. Those kind of like the electric race car sets, whatever. I think that's the official term for it. So I had a big race car set I bought. But then we zoom in a little more. I do have some high C ecto cooler there, and I knew
Ooh.
that was going
I
to be.
remember that.
Yep.
I had forgotten about that, but I do remember that.
They've done some, throwback editions with the last couple Ghostbusters movies and such. But yep, this would be first edition high C ecto cooler. On top of the ecto cooler, zooming in even further, I have a canister of ooze. So you can buy the Ninja Turtles canister of ooze and put it through the play sets and things like that. And so I did have some ooze. I do have the Chippendale Rescue Rangers VHS tape right there. So I've got probably a selection of some episodes there. There's a Ninja Turtles play set. I think this might be the like the trellis type of thing that they go from like to Dimension X or something maybe. It's some kind of contraption. It looks like a portal of some sort, like a Stargate, if you will. There is one of the water rafts for the like the bathtub toys and stuff. So you can put that in the bathtub, and it's an actual like floating toy. And um, so that was that. But there's oh yeah, and then I also have a giant sled here. That way I could a saucer sled for the winter times. But what's interesting about this photo, because I always remember this story, and it's great that the photo backs me up on it, is that I remember specifically my mom saying, and this is the same mother who had cheered for the Ninja Turtles coming out on the screen in the second movie. And she goes, "You can't spend all $100 on toys. You have to buy one article of clothing." And apparently the Ninja Turtle costume didn't count as clothing. So I'm going to zoom in on this pair of jeans here that's sitting on the couch that I'm at. So you have toys and cartoons and high C and all that stuff, but there is that one pair of jeans that I was told I had to get with my $100 gift
Well,
card.
she's got to teach you to be a sensible adult. That's how you teach sensibility with
Exactly.
disappointment.
So yeah, that's another little story time down memory lane when it comes to young Anthony as a Ninja Turtles fan.
That's very
And
cool.
so before I forget, I am going to jump into some whether they're commissions or original art that I have from some creators. So Scoot McMahon, he did these four Ninja Turtles sketch cards at C2E2 in 2022. So he had them pre-made for his table, and when I got there, and I'm just like, "Yep, those are mine now." So I bought those from him. So we're gonna zoom in on Scoot McMahon's art. We talked about him in our Oh Yeah Comic centric episode a little bit. I'm sure he'll most likely be a future guest on this show. Creator of Sammy the Samurai Squirrel. He's worked with Oh Yeah Comics, Agents of Slam. He's got the Kid Cthulhu out there, wrapped up. There's a lot of great stuff that he does, and he can whip out these sketch card drawings and like nobody's business. So yeah, there are four original Ninja Turtle sketch cards, and he's in our same age range and everything too. So like everything we talk about, I talked about that with him at C2E2 this year about just like yeah, everything the eras of the Batman toys and the movies and the Turtles, like we were all just living that same life basically. So we would all been on the same playground hanging out with each other. And then we have Kelsey Rushing Art. She is based out of Milwaukee, and actually I just realized I didn't show it on my share screen, but my own personal screen. Here we go. Her art is so realistic. We're looking
Wow.
at it. Yeah. So Toka and Reza are in there. We've got the Shredder. We've got the 90s Ninja Turtles. There we got our Casey Jones. Like all of them are based on whether the first or second movies there. Looking at the actress for the first Ninja Turtles movie, and our Splinter. But yeah, look at that gorgeous art. Everything, if you look up Kelsey Rushing Art on Instagram, everything she does is like breathtaking detail like this, and she'll meet a lot of the people that she'll draw, whether it's like the MCU actors and stuff like that. So she'll often get pictures with them holding up the art and everything, and yeah. So this is an awesome piece from Kelsey Rushing Art. Highly, highly recommend checking out their work. And then I have from Jeff Belkey Studios. Here's what I have from Jeff Belkey. Just kind of zoom in on my screen here. So yeah, here's one that's mostly a black and white, but he did some colors with the skin tones, and that was the style of the drawing, leaving everything out, going back to the all red bandanas and such. But this is Jeff Belkey Studios. He's got a lot of awesome stuff. He does a lot of cartooning. But yep, here's a Ninja Turtles piece that I picked up from a Mighty Con. There's that. And then let's see here if I have anybody else. I think that might be it. Yeah, I think that's all I have for Ninja Turtle art at the moment. So
I have one. I didn't think about grabbing it. I have Eric Talbot. Um, I think it is Michelangelo, but I'm not entirely sure.
and I assume you know where it is, so I can insert it post production.
Nope. Nope, that would
Okay.
be a bad assumption.
So I'll just say this: people watching may or may not see what he's talking about right now. If you see it, it's because I know where it is. If you don't see it, it didn't happen. So okay, fair enough.
You can
That
edit me having said
yeah, I'll just bleep that. I'll just put a whole like Ninja Turtle like a Splinter monologue in there as the censor. So
that.
Perfect.
any other kind of like Ninja Turtle stories that just with your own fandom? Is there stuff that you like where you like a specific cartoon or comic run? Feel free to start talking so I don't so I can concentrate on my drawing a little bit too.
The new one looks really good.
Yeah, the upcoming like Seth Rogen produced one.
Yeah, that I was really skeptical when I heard Seth Rogen's doing a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I was just like, exactly. I was like, oh god.
That's awesome.
And then they put out like before the trailer, there were pictures of the characters, and I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is interesting looking because I never watched the last time I watched a cartoon was the 2003 Nickelodeon, I think, where it had like Jason Biggs was a voice on it. Uh and then they did the other one a couple of years ago where they had like markings on their faces and Raph had like a head covering instead of just the eye mask.
Hmm.
And they made him like it almost looked like it belonged on Cartoon Network running after Dexter's Laboratory. Like it had that kind of art style to it.
Mhm.
And I never watched that one because I was just like, I don't really like what that looks like. And I was worried that that's what they were going to do with this movie. And then they put that first trailer out, and I was just like, man, it looks so good. But the only question that I had the whole time was, how did that Ninja Turtle get braces?
Oh, sure.
Is Splinter also an orthodontist?
Hey, he's Master Splinter, so I think he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve there. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a good assumption. It's a good assumption. But yeah, that one looks really good. I was a big fan of the movies. Ninja Rap is awesome.
oh yeah.
And what else is cool about Ninja Turtles? Everything. Everything, yeah.
Before I forget, because Fife sent a message to our group, he goes, he didn't get the chance, but he said, bring up the IDW comics, nearly 150 issues of awesome. So, yes, they are currently in the comics, which I've got a couple next to me here. You know, The Last Ronin, some awesome stuff. They have another uh, spin off of Last Ronin that's happening now. They have a current Ninja Turtles Usagi crossover that they're doing. I can't find where my turtle issues are at the moment, but I think we're like Fife said, it's like basically 150 issues of awesome. And yeah, the comics, like I've got all those editions. I showed that earlier of the hardcovers of the black and white editions. They recently came out with volume 7, I think, which was long delayed for years, and it has like I think maybe all the covers and concept stuff. Like it's not story. They wrapped it up in volume 6, I believe. But reading all of those original comics again, I think I'm in volume 3 right now. Um, absolutely love that. But yeah, Fife calls out the IDW stuff. Anybody reading any current Ninja Turtles at all?
No, I
No,
haven't.
No.
I do know I'm working on getting all the Usagi Yojimbo stuff
Cool,
because
cool.
he's putting out like big collections, like 800-page volumes. I think he's up to book 15 or 16 right now. I
Nice.
have 2 of them, but he got permission that all of the crossovers with the Ninja Turtles are going to be included in those.
Oh yeah, man.
So that'll be awesome. I love Usagi. I think it might be sacrilegious to say, but I think I might like Usagi Yojimbo more than I like Ninja Turtles.
Let's
Can't
see.
believe you
Let's
said that on a Ninja Turtle episode.
let me put Rogers in the waiting room here and let him
Yeah.
think about what he's done.
I'm
Now,
such a
I
jerk.
I will
I
say
did.
that I haven't read. I don't think I've read anything proper Usagi, but I do. Right beside me here, it's on my to read pile. Is issue 1 of the Turtles uh, Usagi crossover. So this is my intro right here. I'm holding it. It's on my reading pile at the very top, actually.
Nice. He's so
Um,
awesome.
Troy, do you have any history with the comic readings at all, or anything you want to speak on that topic?
Well, I did when they first started doing the IDWs. I got the trade paperbacks for the
Cool,
first
cool.
few first few trade paperbacks, and they were really good. He changed the origin story a little bit for him, and I I don't often have a problem with folks changing the origin stories, especially if it's, an improvement. And I think in this case it was. I don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking that it was an improvement. So, and then let's see, the new what is the new Last Ronin series that's coming out?
Yep.
Eric Klaus, who's a Keen Spot artist, he's doing a series of covers. I think he's got a cover for every single one of them.
Oh, nice.
And you can find that. Him and Noah Salt started a studio called Guerrilla Warfare Comics or Guerrilla Warfare Studio, something along those lines. But those covers look really great. I did read The Last Ronin. Amazon had it for like $5 or something like that, something ridiculously low for the hardcover. So I got it, and just not my jam.
No.
And I was sort of like, I don't know, just not my cup of tea. But that's okay. I'm okay. So like same thing with like Batman or Spider-Man comics. If I pick up a modern one, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, because I mean my issues already happened, when I was big into it as a kid. So those are for somebody else, and I'm cool.
If you got to write your own Ninja Turtles miniseries, what would they do in it?
Ooh. There's a hard-hitting question here. I wasn't prepared for this. I'm definitely going to let Troy answer this first, because he is, I haven't published any stories. So, Troy. I think my story would be a world where it's about a young cartoonist who's reading The Last Ronin a second time and realizing, you know what, this is my jam. That's my story. That's the story I'm telling.
Yeah,
and the cartoonist's name is going to be Doi Tangara. So
Doi Tangara, I like it.
It's Tanagara.
Yeah, that's right. I keep pronouncing it wrong.
It's the me.
See, The Last Ronin actually stole my idea, because anytime I have an idea to do a story, my first instinct seems to be to kill somebody. Because I think it mixes everything up. It forces you to like re-examine characters. Like I have this huge idea for a DuckTales 12-issue series that I've been working on in my head. IDW won't give me the time of day, but all I'll say is my working title: The Death of Uncle Scrooge.
Oh.
Yeah. And it would be like in the vein of like the Afterlife with Archie stuff, where it's kind of meant for a little bit more mature of a reader. It's not like a kid book. And it would just be basically Huey, Dewey, and Louie come home after school one day, and news vans are outside the mansion and ambulances, and they see them loading a stretcher with a sheet over it onto it. And then when they go upstairs to the room to like Scrooge's office, the money bin is open and completely empty. His lucky dime is missing. There's all these things. So basically any of the main villains could be the person that did it. Yeah. They'll never let me do it.
Of course not.
But it's just like, I just think that when you're doing a new story on something that's so established, like that's why Last Ronin was so good, is because nobody ever imagined that that's what it would be about. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, you killed all of them except for one, and we don't know which one is alive.
Yeah, that first issue, and if nobody has read it, it's been out there for a while, but let's go spoiler free as far as like that first issue is so strong. So that first issue does such a good job where there's several moments where it leads you to think that it's like each of the, like you could guess any one of them. It just based on I was following, like, listening to their voice and just trying to figure it out, and ultimately I was wrong with who it ended up being, but it was so cool to. I thought it was very very well done to keep that mystery for that opening issue, but
I liked of that series, I liked the supporting character, April's daughter.
there
And
you
there's
go.
also a bit of a reveal there, so I won't give that away, but I liked that character probably better than I liked the last Ronin.
Yeah, I think that's a safe enough tease there, but
Um, guys, I'm done.
okay. As in, you got to leave, you're done, or you're just done altogether.
Well, I'm done drawing. Um, and
Okay.
I'm in people
So,
sleep in the room that I'm recording in, so I
so
should try to wrap it up on my end.
and we will wrap it up here. So what I'm going to do, there's many of things to talk about when it comes to Ninja Turtles. I will do a quick version of this. This is what I had Eastman draw and remark on my original copy from childhood that I still was holding on to of Ninja Turtles. This is issue number 9. So I just talked about this has no significance other than the fact that I'm still holding on to this all of these decades later,
Mhm.
never having the other issues and just finding this one at a rummage sale. So yeah, it was cool, and he's got the signature, and then he did a quick turtle sketch there.
Mhm.
So that was the last thing I had to do as far as the show and tell goes. Um, to wrap things up, and I'm sure we'll visit these topics down the line and everything like that. To wrap things up, what we're going to be doing is kind of showing off the art there. Troy's been showing off. Rogers, if you want to quick give us a look see at what you came up with here with one of your 20 turtle drawings.
I finally stuck with one.
Okay. Oh,
He's
nice.
Yeah.
adorable.
Oh wait, we gotta get this in here real quick. One sec. One sec. Gotta get my right pen. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Got to brand it there.
Why'd you sign it Robert Pattinson?
Because I am the knight.
Awesome work, my friend.
That's a fancy looking signature.
I practiced it a lot. You
And
can
then
tell, like, if you see me sign something and then Fife signs the same thing, you can tell which one of us practiced our signature way more than the other one.
Trying to think.
yeah,
I have something signed by both of you guys too, and I don't know which one is which.
His is the one I think he signed it in all caps. It's just he printed his name, Matt Fife.
oh sure.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing when I sign a book because my signature is illegible. So
Okay, so what I'm about to show here, because I'm dropping my image into the share screen in a second, so that way I can show that, and then we can move on to the to our plugs just to wrap up the show then. And I know I've got some more work to do on mine, but I am going to be revealing it in just a second here. This is where I'm at. So,
Beautiful.
very cool.
so yeah, we've got and I'll put in the Daryl Young examples in the post video, so it makes you guys watch that too, because we'll need an extra view or two. But yeah, when I go through and sit down with this, when I'm not talking on a podcast and I'm just listening and not having to speak, I'm gonna go through, start doing some details. I'll People might even be seeing the final version as they hear me talk. I'm gonna add some glares to the dome and add some veins. All across Krang and just do any of my extra details that I just didn't really have patience for while talking and everything. So yeah, that is I think another successful episode in the books. Thank you everybody for watching along. We have a bunch of plugs here, so I'm just gonna kind of breeze through this. When you watch the ending of the video, you're going to see the links for how to find us and everything like that. So it'll be kind of a brief as we kind of learn how we're going to structure the ending here. But cartoonistbynight.com is our main hub where you can get to all of our links through our Facebook and our YouTube, which is the most important, where you subscribe, like, and ring the bell and notifications and all that stuff. So cartoonistbynight.com, subscribe on iTunes. Troy has a comic that's out there on the stands, Kid Slapshot versus Zamboni. Check that out. This episode may or may not have aired. The con may have passed, but tidewatercomiccon.com, May 20th and 21st at the Virginia Beach Convention Center. If it's coming up, then go check it out. If it's in the past, then I hope you had fun. I host a comic book club, Crimson Cowl Comic Book Club. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, and you see the video versions, which has some fun show and tell. And you see myself and my comic club friends meeting almost every single week to talk about new comics and old. And that's crimsoncowl.com. You can go there for all the links, as well as original webcomics that are created by some of the Crimson Cowl members, David Gloyd II and David Gloyd I. So crimsoncowl.com. And then all of our personal links and everything like that is available after this video. So you should check that out, as well as our descriptors with Tunes by Troy and the Matt Rogers there too. So all that stuff is going to be on there, so we don't have to keep kind of repeating all the same stuff over and over again. But there's much more to talk about with the Ninja Turtles. We barely scratched the surface, but it was a lot of fun, cool getting our origin stories, showing off the art, seeing the processes, maybe. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think we're just going to wrap it up. It was great to see you guys again. And our closing line, what we're going to test out is this. All right, guys, the sun is starting to come up, so it's time to get back to our day jobs. It is recording, so we are ready to go. I'll give the intro and we'll dive into it.
Can Rogers while recording, finish his story about the poopage?
Yeah, so they make flaming hot beef jerky, and I ate an entire bag of it last night. And I was in a dead sleep, and all of a sudden I was just like, and I had to gallop to the bathroom.
Oh my
Woke
god!
everybody up. And then it came back like an hour ago. I was just like, oh god, I thought it was done. It wasn't
So,
even that
Anthony,
spicy
just
while
wait.
I was eating it. It was spicy
Guys,
later.
for it.
Anthony, if he pisses you off this week, publish that. Publish that. Its
Go
own
for it.
episode, just called the beef jerky incident.
It's a cautionary tale for everybody.
That's right.
Woo.
All right.